So I was asked to speak about practice management and some of the issues that are going on in the UK and what the implications might be for over here. So I started off by talking about the fact that millennials actually are advice seeking. So that's really positive on the basis that we've got this sort of next generation coming through. Got obviously robo in the background and what are the implications for that. I think one of the challenges, however, is that it's the sort of Gen X, my generation, that have got the cash, got the capital at the moment. So one of the big issues will be how you deal with the whole intergenerational wealth transfer. You've got 30 trillion coming to the next generation. So how do you equip them with the wave of capital that's coming? And equally, how do you engage with both the old and the new? So that was a number of trends covered, but that was one of them. The majority of the market is already quite familiar with dealing with typically older clients. I think it's probably true to say you tend to have clients that are around your own age. So what we've sought to do in Paradigm Norton in the UK is recruit millennials. We've recruited now 7 graduates, and they've had a profound impact on our business, but also they work very well with millennial clients. So where you've got those in the accumulation phase, then the new graduates, once they become regulated to give advice and they've become CFP professionals, then it's great that you can get a millennial client dealing with a millennial advisor. So that's very much been our plan and will be for the future. So we're looking for more and more individuals like that to come and join the firm, and we see them as the future of our organisation. I think that's a real challenge, and I was interested to hear your regulator Caroline talking about how they're going to try and deal with that. So I think very much the FCA in the UK took the view that they wanted to avoid conflicts at any cost, and therefore effectively abolished pretty well commissions overnight, certainly on investment products, and therefore it has created this massive advice gap. So hearing Caroline this morning talking about trying to manage conflicts, but at the same not end up with a whole swathe of the population without advice, if that can be done, that would be a tremendous achievement. Because I think, certainly from my perspective, on the one hand, as the CEO of a financial planning business, having less competition is a good thing. But when I put my FPSB hat on, or my professional hat, I just think it's a shame that we've got this sort of next generation coming through that potentially, or those with lesser financial means may not be able to access good financial planning, and that seems a shame. I think in part that might be resolved through robo. I'm a great robo advocate. I think I like disruption, I like innovation. I think sometimes when you get movements like that, it causes probably quite an established industry or profession to have to wake up and think about what are you delivering. So one of the other messages earlier was around, are we able to justify the costs that we're charging? Are we able to articulate clearly to clients and prospective clients why they're going to be paying maybe 25 basis points for the investment solution and 100 basis points for the advice? So I think that will be an interesting challenge, and I think robo is going to be good, and I think it's going to help people access a market or investment solutions perhaps that they wouldn't be able to do through face-to-face advice. Good question. I think everybody's trying to work that one out. So I think as we're seeing innovation, we're seeing new products and services delivered to the market. I think that's certainly from our perspective in terms of running my business, we want to embrace technology. We want to have it, the advice, the planning needs to be advisor face-to-face led, but that could be through Skype and using technology. But I think in terms of, our clients run off iPhones, so we need to make sure that the technology we deliver to them is as good as it possibly can be. So 24/7 access to their portfolios and all of that. So I think, but at the same time, we're also I'm trying to encourage other professionals to think about bringing graduates in, and we're back to what I talked about earlier. So part of the, we can only do what we can do, and what we can do is we can recognise where the challenges are, we can recruit graduates, and I would say probably within the next 5 to 10 years, we'll have more millennials in our business than we'll have the older generation. So we are doing our bit, and what I do as a member of FPSB is go around typically to events like this saying, what part are you going to play in that? Because it's very easy for advisors to go, oh, this is what's happening. But how many people are actually doing something in their own firms, in their own lives to change what's going on? So when we advertised for a graduate in the UK, the last position we had 100 applicants for one position. So there are certainly plentiful out there. And I think if you can build a sort of purpose-led, ethical, values-based business, you have millennials queuing at your door. So It's just a question of us running really good financial planning practices and making it sufficiently attractive that if a graduate coming out of university is looking at law, accountancy, they also look at financial planning. And I think we're not quite there yet, but that's starting to happen. I mean, probably we have fairly established ways of doing things. What the millennials are very good at doing is going, why? Why do we have to do that? And we can shortcut that process. So they've been hugely effective in terms of doing that. But I think in terms of the simplicity of what we do, in terms of how we put portfolios together, the methodology of conversations, whether you're a 27-year-old or a 50-year-old, you have the same financial planning conversations. You're just typically dealing with different challenges with different clients. So you've got the millennial client who's in that accumulation phase, whereas typically most of the clients I deal with, they've either got enough or in the decumulation phase, and it's more around how do we give it to the kids.